médico.
Gostaria de agradecer o convite.
Nós vamos entrevistar o editor-chefe do programa jornalístico Balanço Geral da emissora Record, o Marcos Brambila.
Me formei aqui na UNAERP, como vocês estão se formando, né?
Rádio UNAERP. Experimente. Rádio UNAERP.
Pep Talk, a show that put the pep in your step.
Hey there, listener. I'm your host, Helena Fisher. I'm here with Liz Barreto, Maísa Orlando, and Zé Ronato.
Hi guys, I'm Liz Barreto and I'm very happy to be here.
What's up, guys?
Hey there, Zé from Pep Talk here.
Here are some of the topics we're going to cover today. The lighting of the Olympic torch, a new exhibit from the MAC of USP, the largest communication congress in the world, and Wagner Moda's ascent in Hollywood. Furthermore, we're going to talk about the controversial drug Ozempic and the popular events Agri Show and Rodeio.
So I'm going to start talking about the Olympic torch. It was lit on April 16th and it was lit in a ceremony in Olympia in Greece. The Greek actress Mary Mina played the role of a priestess, and she was supposed to lit the torch by the sunlight, but the weather was cloudy, so they used the backup flame to lit the torch, and now it will be handed to an 11-day relay across Greece. I'm sorry, I forgot how to say the name.
Panathenaic, I think?
Panathenaic Stadium in Athens, where happened the first modern games in 1896. The torch will arrive in Marseille, in France, in May 8th, and it will begin a relay with 10,000 people. It will pass across 65 French territories in 68 days. A lot of days, a lot of numbers, sorry. Then the torch will arrive at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in July 26th, where the Olympic flame will be lit and will begin the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games will go from July 26th and it will end at August 11th.
Can I talk about a little thing?
Mm-hmm.
When we have the Olympic Games here in Brazil in 2016, we have a ceremony here in Ribeirão Preto.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, you talked about it.
Did you guys hold the torch at school?
No,
Because
I was pertinho.
Because in some schools...
It was close.
It was close to me.
Yes, but in some schools we had the opportunity to hold the torch.
Yes,
so
here in
cool.
Ribeirão, it was in Sebcock.
Yeah, I had the chance to hold. You know, you would just hold it and take a picture like, I'm so happy here.
I have a picture too.
Yes, like, so people arrive there and you're not expecting, you know, maybe you're having a bad hair day and they say, oh, we're going to take a picture of you with the Olympic torch. And I'm like, oh my God, nobody told you like that.
My bad hair day.
Yeah, bad hair day. And
no
then,
one gave me a notice. I needed to know before.
No, they didn't. So one day someone arrived at school and we're like, we're going to take a picture of you. So smile, please. And we're like, yeah, with the torch. Yes, I'm so happy and my hair is like this.
In Sertãozinho, the Olympic torch, I don't remember exactly what year, but they also passed it through our town, and there was also a runner, a famous track star that is from Sertãozinho, and in a museum that's really close to my house, actually, they have like a little exhibit showing for the Olympics, which I think is really cool. I don't know about you guys, but I love watching the Olympics every year.
Yeah, me too.
It's so fun. Like everyone just starts rooting for their country, and we get to see so many different sports, which I just think is a great experience for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Yes, there are so many categories you can involve. If you don't involve with a sport, you can relate to another one.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's different from like the World Cup. It's only football.
Yeah, exactly.
Only soccer. Sorry.
Yes.
But there you can relate to so many sports.
For sure. Moving on, I'm going to talk about the exhibit at the MAC, which is the Museum of Contemporary Art at the University of São Paulo, which serves as a platform for researching American art. It's also in partnership with the Terra Foundation for American Art based in Chicago, which I really want to visit. It features 36 artworks. The exhibit will run until January 2026. And many of the pieces can only be viewed at specific times because they're made with paper, so they can't be exposed to light for too long. But the other artworks can be shown throughout the day because they're on canvas, so it's fine. They're just with regular paint and canvas. And the main themes of the exhibit cover indigenous art, Afro-descendant art, and immigration. So I think that's really interesting because I think it's interesting to see the movement of indigenous Afro-descendant art in America as well as in Brazil, because we see that like there's a lot of similarities in our history, even though we did end up developing differently, the two countries. I think that there's still a lot that can be discussed and shared between the two countries of like, listen, like we also have had history with slavery, we've had history with erasure of indigenous art. So I think that's interesting because we're allowed to talk about things that usually aren't talked about, I think that's interesting. And it also it shows the diversity of American society, which I think is super important. And it also prioritizes indigenous artists and indigenous people that showed up in art, which again, a lot of the times has been erased from history. So I think that's very cool.
Yeah. And that's a theme that's on the rise. If we take like the colors of the flower moon, something that shows how the indigenous people lived in the USA. And if we think like Lily Gladstone, she is
indigenous.
Yes, she's indigenous, and she's the first woman, indigenous woman, to be nominated for an Oscar. And there's also the song that is composed by indigenous people that was nominated for the Oscars too.
Yes. And if we look at the history of the United States, there are still a lot of reservations present, which reservations, I don't know if you guys know what they are, but it's a piece of land that is still dedicated to indigenous people, and they're allowed to live there still. But basically, a lot of them live in situations that are not very good, poverty and addiction and things like that. So I think it's important for us to really bring this subject forward into light, and I think it's cool that we can see it through a form of art. So instead of something a little bit more light,
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know how it is in the US, but here in Brazil, we still talk about indigenous people a lot. Like, there is also the reservations here. Although it's not like...
It's because it's also so far away, usually, it's in the Amazonas, so a lot of the times, or not that there's only indigenous people in that area, but I think it's harder for us to have contact with that culture sometimes.
Yeah, so it's a nice way to bring this to life, to us.
For sure.
And talking about Chicago is so important for art.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like the whole city is embedded with art. If we see, for example, the mirrored bean.
I was going to say that,
yes. That's so iconic.
That's like literally a sculpture that everyone wants to take pictures with. And it's just a huge part of the city itself. It's not just something separated in a museum. It's part of the architecture of the state, and the city.
Chicago is so important for art. So it is so important to see this state involved in Brazil.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, so now we're going to talk about the biggest communication congress in the world, NAB Show. NAB Show is the biggest fair of products and services in the areas of broadcasting, digital media, and television in the world, and it's promoted by the National Association of Broadcasts, NAB. In the Congress is it happens in the United States in this year, to the days April 16th and April 21st in Las Vegas, USA. The segments are television, radio, cinema, film and video production and post-production, audio, new media, internet streaming, broadband, and wireless service. Beto Amaral, the president of SSC Group, Sistema Catarinense de Comunicações, who has already been in several editions of the Congress, say that every year there is a great highlight. We have already had of the year of digitalization, transmission via 3G or 4G network, 3D virtual reality, 360-degree cameras, 4K, 8K, drones, cloud, virtualization, and etc. Besides that, Beto says that what caught my attention of the most year, I think you could say the year of LED panels. And it's so cool because every year we had one. LED can be used in television studios, and the price has been greatly reduced, making the accessibility to regional television broadcasts as well. I think this is so curiosity because we think that they are talking about ChatGPT and AI, but no, they talk about LED panels. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they brought that up. He brought that up as the highlight, I guess, of the convention or the Congress, right? I also think I saw a movie recently that came out on Netflix that was about the coverage of I think it was Prince James. It was on Netflix, Prince James from England, the UK, and it's about journalism, basically about how they were able to extract an interview from him because there was a whole scandal with him, and I'm forgetting his name right now.
Is it Prince, the son of the Queen?
Yes, it was about...
It's Andrew.
Prince Andrew. Yeah, sorry. Not Prince James.
It's the one that is involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
Exactly.
The owner of Abercrombie, know, the Lolita Express.
Yes, exactly. And basically, when we see that it's a big broadcast channel, BBC, so we saw that she was messing with the lights and like trying to see what light would be good for the broadcasting of the interview. So I thought that was really interesting that you see that we don't see that as much because we haven't had so much contact with TV yet. But it's interesting that we mess with the lights to really pass a certain message to the viewers. I think that's interesting that was a new technology that they.
Yes, I think.
And
too.
now that it's more accessible, it's cheaper. Because it must be pretty expensive to light that whole area there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I think too.
Well, speaking in growing business, let's talk about Novo Nordisk, which has become the most valuable company in Europe because of the large amount of medicaments they produce, including Ozempic. That is the topic of today, where Ozempic is a medicine used to treat type 2 diabetes and obesity. However, people are using it to weight loss. No, loss weight.
Weight loss.
Weight loss. Yeah. Sorry. And however, people are using it. There are a lot of side effects. I'm going to talk about a few of them. There is weight loss, obviously. Muscle mass, weight loss.
Yeah, so you lose some of the muscle mass, right?
Yeah. And also bone density.
Yeah,
So-
you lose bone density, right?
Yeah. So it's like, for me, it's a long time effect is in a long distance. No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to.
No, it's okay. In the future.
Yeah, in the future, it's gonna be a lot of damage, basically.
Yes.
But also there is another side effects like Ozempic had, that it has a name because the body gets like.
It doesn't accompany.
Yeah.
It means that our body loses so much weight, but our head kind of looks big for
bigger.
our
So
body.
like the person's like taut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Like
just
taut.
looks. It just looks
It's
not
look weird.
It doesn't look proportional.
Yeah, it's not
Yes.
Harmonious.
Yeah.
It's too
Right.
long with a big head, like
Yes.
the Red Queen.
Yes.
Is it the Red Queen
Yeah.
from Alice?
Yeah, that's what I imagine too.
Yes.
And there's also Ozempic face that, however, the name is face. It's the whole body gets like,
Kind of sunken.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like it doesn't, like you see the sunkenness of the face, like the
Yeah,
cheekbones, right?
Yeah, flacidez.
Yes,
I don't know
it
how to
gets
say that.
loose. It gets loose. It's not
Loose?
tight. Yeah, the muscles
It's
are
what happens when you don't have Botox.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Basically that.
Uh-huh.
So this topic has become like in trending like topics basically because celebrities, a lot of celebrities are using it, including Oprah Winfrey, Jojo Tadinho. I was Jojo Tadinho. Meio difícil. Jojo Tadinho and Elon Musk. I didn't know they admitted they used Ozempic.
Yeah,
And also Elon Musk
Oprah.
lost 14 pounds using Ozempic.
which is
Oh
crazy.
God, I never thought Oprah used it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was like, Oprah?
Oprah, yeah.
I think that when it's prescribed by a doctor, it's cool because the doctor knows what the patient needs. But when it's by yourself, it's so dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a drug.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think these celebrities, even if they are talking to a doctor, they might be talking to a doctor that, passes this prescription without actually needing it,
Yeah.
which
Yes.
is definitely, concerning because, like you said, there's a bunch of different side effects that we don't even know about necessarily. That like what we know so far is the loss of bone density and the Ozempic face and the muscle mass, but we don't know about what other side effects that could possibly.
Yes, but self-medication is so hazardous.
Exactly.
In Brazil last year we had some people that got addicted to some sedatives because they couldn't sleep, so they started self-medicating themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one girl, she started taking one pill a day, and she said she could sleep all night long, and she woke up fine. She wasn't feeling sleepy. And then after a month, she was taking like a box one night.
So it definitely had some addictive properties, right?
You took one pill, and then you're taking a whole box. And then she said that she came to a point that she was taking 15 boxes a day.
Oh my God.
It's a lot.
Imagine, you can overdose it. If you overdose it, you can simply die.
For sure.
And it's like there's this also. I found this during my research. I found this thing like the British newspaper Daily Mail. They invited Gary Moteke. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. He's a plastic surgeon, and he was invited to like see the stars at Oscar 2024 and analyze if they used Ozempic or any other weight loss medication. And he said that Brendan Fraser, the star of
actor.
Mummy,
Wow.
he may have used because he was clicked with the most sagging skin.
Oh my God.
And also he said like he didn't talk about his
Weight loss.
So from the movie The Whale, so it's a lot of weight loss in a short time. So it's like
sometimes these people they don't speak about it because they actually were using methods that weren't necessarily very healthy to promote, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's crazy, and also just I guess it's different because like I think you mentioned that this culture of celebrities, that have been using this and we've been trying to promote body positivity, we've been trying to advance and trying to get better, and then suddenly a new drug comes out that is going to kind of push back all that progress, you know what I mean, and make people more insecure about their bodies and even go to extreme methods to try to lose weight and change their bodies. So
do you guys remember about the IV therapy that celebrities didn't want to eat, so they used to go and take IV drips,
which is crazy.
So they take like the vitamins and they need, so for example you need vitamin C. So
I remember I remember doctor here in Ribeirão that did that.
Oh my God.
And it's so crazy and dangerous.
Yes, for example, if you think about vitamin C, what do? You eat oranges, you drink lemonade, but these celebrities they
injected it.
They inject it, so they get into their veins, so it's like straight. And if we think it can overwhelm some of our organs, like the kidney, because it's going to filter so much. And like taking IV drips sometimes because you are dehydrated, it's something you can take it because it is something that happens once
and under medical supervision usually, right?
Yes, it's once in a lifetime. But these people are taking like every week, so it's too much for the body to handle.
For sure.
Yes. And like speaking of numbers, I searched how much it costs this drug, the Ozempic. Here in Brazil is $1,000, and in the US is $968.
Wow! So it's more expensive to buy in the US than it is here, right? Yeah, it makes more sense to buy it here, I guess.
Yeah, and the people don't need a prescription, so you can buy just go to a drugstore
just
and
get
buy
it anywhere.
So I think it's really dangerous, and people should talk more about it.
For sure.
Yes, and it's so dangerous, and we're laughing.
Yes.
We are laughing.
Laughing out of desperation.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
Not funny.
Moving on to a lighter topic, I wanted to talk about Wagner Moura's trajectory in Hollywood. He's recently been in the movie Civil War. I was about to say Guerra Civil. But he's a Brazilian actor, very popular, very famous, and he's started to do his trajectory started off in Cidade Baixa, Tropa de Elite, these movies that are national films, Brazilian films. And his first contact with Hollywood was in 2013 for the dystopian film Elysium, alongside Brazilian actress Alice Braga. And in 2014, Moura worked on Hollywood DNA film Trash. It was an adaptation of a writer's work, Andy Mulligan. And then the following year brought big success because I don't know if you guys have ever watched this show, but I really loved it. It's Narcos. This show depicts the life of the notorious drug lord Pablo Escobar. Moura portrayed Escobar excellently, not only depicting the dangerous side of this man, but I feel like he also kind of humanized him because it became so sensationalized in the news about Pablo Escobar and his life, and we didn't really see him. Obviously, he's a very dangerous and he did a lot of awful things, but we just never saw like who he was as a person. How did he live? How did he get to this point to create such a large business? You know what I mean? An illegal business, but a business nonetheless. And then in 2022, jumping a little bit forward, in Shining Girls, which is another show that I actually watched and I really enjoyed, Moura plays the role of a charming and intelligent journalist, and the series revolves around him and an archivist, Kirby Mizrachi. She works at a newspaper, and she basically works with the documents and everything behind it, but she dreams to be a journalist. And the thing is that this Kirby, she survives a brutal attack, and it leaves her in a constantly changing reality. So every few days, let's say, she basically, different details of her life move completely. Like, she's in a different house, she has a different boyfriend, or she's no longer dating anyone. Different things about her life move and change, and it kind of has to do with time travel a little bit, this show. And it was really interesting because we see him, he's also portrayed, like they are active about showing that he is Brazilian in the show. Like, he's supposed to be a Brazilian American, and his son in the show is also Brazilian. So he speaks some Portuguese with him in the show, which I thought was really cool. And now, recently, there was the A24 film, like I mentioned, Civil War, which brings together a loaded cast. There's so many talented actors, such as Kirsten Dunst, there's Kaylee Spaney, and of course, Wagner Moura. The film portrays a not-so-distant reality, which is a dangerous political climate of war in the U.S., and Moura plays a colleague of the photojournalist, which also has to do with journalism in this movie. And I thought it was just interesting because several actors have stood out that are Brazilian. I just think that's so cool in the past few years, you know what I mean? Especially Wagner Moura, who is just so talented. So I think it's really cool to see him getting recognized.
I remember once, I do not remember what newspaper it was exactly. I won't say the name because I don't want to make a mistake here. But it was like, why do Brazilians hate when they see other Brazilians thriving in overseas? It's like, sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't like that person just because the person is thriving.
I guess people might feel like they're betraying their nationality, like, oh, they're going to the U.S. and now they're a big shot and they're like gonna forget about all the Brazilians that are here or something like that.
I remember seeing so many people criticizing Brazilian people who were celebrities outside here. So how do we not support our people?
For sure.
I'm the opposite, completely opposite. I see someone, I was like, oh my God, it's a Brazilian in Hollywood.
Brazil mentioned, like,
I think there are
mention of Brazil.
Extremes.
Yes, I think there are definitely two extremes. Sometimes the Brazilians or Brazilians in general just end up being like, no, I don't want, we need to gatekeep him, he needs to be ours, and other people really want to see these actors or stars succeed, right?
Yes. So. I remember when at school we studied about the sociólogo. I don't know how.
Sociologist.
Yes, sociologist. I think it's Nelson Rodrigues. They are talking about síndrome de vira-lata.
What is it?
Mutt syndrome, which is like the dog that is mixed, basically.
But it's when you want to have the things that other people has, but you has here in Brazil. You have here in Brazil.
It's kind of
but like it's oh my God, it's in USA, it's so cool, but you have here in Brazil. Right. And it's that.
I know. I think I get it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like this concept of the Brazilian that feels inferior. Like, he's like, let's put down everything that we make, everything that we produce, all the movies, all the music. Oh, it's all so like tacky or brega, you know what I mean? But anything from, there's a lot of similar things. It's not like the U.S. doesn't produce things that are considered tacky or that we kind of Americans maybe don't like or don't find interesting. You know what I mean?
I think we should support our people.
Right, for sure.
I think I'm going to give you an example. Like, I was watching, I think it was Brooklyn Nine-Nine. There is a scene where they're in a gym and there is a Brazilian flag in the back. And I was like, it's a Brazilian flag!
Brazilian flag.
I get so like, I'm so proud.
I also, like, for me personally, was surrounded by some Brazilian people because my mom had friends that were like immigrants, you know, that came kind of around the same time as her. And I just really always felt this huge connection with Brazil. And I was like, yes, like, I'm so glad. Like, whenever there was this little market that would sell Brazilian foods and like pão de queijo and like salgadinhos and things like that. And I always just really loved having that contact with Brazil, even if it wasn't technically in Brazil, you know?
You know, something that I thought was so strange when I discovered, like, there's no Guaraná Antarctica out there.
There is.
Is there?
I had some in Florida. Florida has a lot of Brazilian immigrants there.
Yes, but if you take other states, for example.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Maybe not. So, yes, and then I thought, oh, how come they don't have that? I thought
saw
it was.
Recently, there is I think there's many, but I see one store, Brazilian store in New York. So they sell pão de queijo, açaí, guaraná, because it's that people that buy Brazil and hello United States, and I have this store here.
Yeah.
But imagine, for example, when you think about soda, what do you think about? You think about
Guaraná.
No, I was
Guaraná. Soda can be considered Guaraná too.
Yes, but when I think about like soda, I think about American. I think about American brands like Pepsi, Coca-Cola. I think about that. So. And then I thought, oh, maybe Guaraná is American too. I was like, oh, it's Brazilian.
No, when I found out Guaraná was Brazilian,
yes. And when I said,
I was like,
it's Brazilian. It is so good.
It's because it comes from a berry that's indigenous to Brazil too. So I'm pretty sure that in America they wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. In America that we don't have that berry. So the only reason that we would have Guaraná is if we exported it from Brazil.
And we have a kind of prejudice, against our country. For example, we always tend to think like things that come from other countries are better. For example, imported cars, imported clothing. We always think that those things are better. And then when I realized that Guaraná was Brazilian, I thought, oh my gosh, it's too good to be national.
In Maçã, the soda of maçã. Apple. Apple here in Brazil. I love, gente.
It's really good too. Yeah.
I thought, oh, it's good. It's Brazilian.
Yes.
It's so Brazilian.
Yes. Now can we talk about some Brazilian events, talking about Brazil.
Yeah.
Now, next week, it will start on April 29th, and we will go until May 3rd, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a whole week from Monday to Friday. So AgriShow is the biggest fair here in Latin America. It will be displayed all the new technologies that involves agribusiness. And there are so many products for all kinds of producers, all kinds of farms and properties. And this fair is also very important for networking. Because if we think there are a lot of producers there, there are the owners of those fabrics. The fabric? No, it's not fabrics. It's factories. Yes, it's factories. And we've got to say that agribusiness represents like a quarter of our economy, of a quarter of our GDP, and it is so important to discuss that. Like, we are the biggest soy producing country in the world. We're ahead of the United States, which is bigger than our country, and we even produce more, and we are also producing technology. And it's hard to think about Brazil producing technology, because when we think about technology, we think about more developed countries. But Brazil is on the rise.
For sure. Say. Yeah, I think even talking about technology, this is kind of random, but we don't realize that a lot of things, like a lot of common inventions that we use every day, or not every day, but like, for example, the airplane wasn't that invented by someone originally that is Brazilian? Like, there, things that we kind of don't give it much thought to it, you know what I mean? We use that Brazilians actually made, you know what I mean? So I think we do have a lot of great minds in this country, and that's just really
interesting. If we think, for example, electric shower, that's the Brazilian invention, because people in other countries are afraid of mixing water and electricity. But here, no, we're not afraid of mixing those.
We're like, I don't care. Let's test
gas, our luck. No, we won't use gas. That is safer. We will use electricity. And imagine water and electricity.
Not gas.
We are not. Yes,
Exactly.
We're not afraid of death. No.
For sure.
So I would say this fair is so important. Many people come from many countries.
Yeah.
This city is going to be so crowded
For sure.
next week. It is expected more than 10,000 cars in one day.
Oh my God.
One
All
day.
the hotels are sold out.
Yes, even some people are really renting their bedrooms in their houses. For example, I have a bedroom that is not being used.
Yeah, like Airbnb.
But you live with the person.
Except the person isn't leaving. Yeah.
Yes, the
They're
person
staying.
Yes,
They're in your bedroom.
yes, you're not traveling and you're living the home for them. You're still living with them.
That's crazy.
It's like a host family.
Yeah, it's like an exchange program.
week.
Yes, it's like an exchange program. It is expected to grow like 30% here in the economy this week, talking about restaurants, hotels. So it's good for the city.
For sure.
Yes.
A lot of movement.
So good for Ribeirão.
Yeah.
So good. There are side effects like traffic.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Agglomeration.
it's just for a week.
Yeah.
Traffic jam.
We can bear it, you know.
Let's look to the good side.
Yes. Like Uber prices are going to skyrocket.
For sure. That's
Imagine.
true.
Yes, because it is. Yes.
Everyone wants to take an Uber too.
So it is more expensive. So there are some topics, and if we want to go somewhere, we need to left home early,
Yeah.
so you don't get there.
Jesus.
And talking about other event, we were talking about agriculture. So it is so strong here because we live in the countryside. So people here, not here, but in smaller cities, it is so common to see people live like in the farm.
Yeah.
So we
Simpler life.
Yes, we have rodeo here. It is so famous.
Yes.
It started on 20th, and it started with Ana Castella, Hugo Guilherme, Alok, and Luan Pereira. Alok said that he really likes playing at rodeos. He said he would like.
Played in Catanduva
That's
last
so
year.
cool.
I don't remember if it was last year or 2022.
Here in Ribeirão, I think that he went since 2015,
Wow.
2016.
He's so popular. He's on rise.
Every year he comes.
I really like him. They were expecting 40,000 people.
Oh wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to Agri Show, but that's still a lot.
Yes.
Um,
For a concert or
and
for
if we
a
think
festival.
about the prices here, for example, the standard ticket, it was 90 reais. We say that.
Rios.
Yeah, Rios. If it is half pay, like we are students, we can half pay that.
Yeah.
4 days, I guess it was like 200 reais too. I thought this one was so nice. You could pay like 100 reais if you do a donation.
That's cool. Like a solidarity thing, right?
Yes, solidarity. You just need to donate 1 kilo of a kind of food.
I
like
think
Basic
rice,
food groups, right?
rice, beans. I guess things that are packed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's called solidarity ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is. I thought it was so handful. Handful is it?
Or helpful, maybe.
Yes, not handful. Handful. No, it's just not a handful. No, not handful. Handful is not good. It's helpful or thoughtful.
Yes.
Yes, it was thoughtful that I was going to say. Handful is not good. It's like
Too much.
yes. Sorry, I used the wrong word. There's also VIP tickets like Valentine's box and Burma's box. Burma's box is more expensive. I guess it is open bar and open food. But people are willing to pay. Some people save the whole year of money just to pay a night. I don't know how, but they do. It's not my money. So, and I would say that this strong country culture here, it is so important for us. I guess it is it's something that makes us us.
Yeah.
I really like that, and it's the kind of movement that is on the rise. If we think, for example, Beyonce, she just launched Jolene by Dolly Parton.
And the album.
Yes, and the album. And if we think about, people are like wearing hats, brown
cowboy
leather,
hats.
Yes.
boots,
Buckles.
buckles, buckles too.
For sure,
And it
right?
is so it's like, how can I say? It's a standard.
It's becoming integrated into our style,
Whole jeans.
into our ways of dressing, right?
If we see, for example, Louis Vuitton debuted a beautiful, it was so gorgeous, that runway, a lot of models wearing boots, brown leather, beautiful hats. It was so good. I guess it was Pharrell. What's the name of that ad? That singer, Pharrell
Williams?
Pharrell Williams. I guess he is the head of Louis Vuitton now. And he did such a great job last season. It was so good. And I guess it's something that is going to be on top now. And then I don't know what's going after. But, fashion and these things, they go somewhere and they then return to a balance.
Yeah, for sure. I think it really depends, because right now it's really big, and there are so many trend cycles, so sometimes it might be on the back burner for a little bit, but it generally always comes back. I don't know about you guys, but if you look at fashion every 20 years, you can see that we take influences from the decade before and then the decade before, and you can't really. There becomes a point where you can't tell
this
which
year is maxi and next year's is mini.
Yeah, and then the next year will be maxi again. So it kind of cycles through. So I think that's really cool, and I think that it's also interesting because if we compare it to American culture, I think there is definitely a presence of country culture, but it's more isolated, I guess. It's more to the south. I mean, there's definitely, again, stronger regions in Brazil,
like
where
Texas,
where it's definitely they have the rodeos and people ride on not the cows, on bulls too, but also on horses.
They drive Cadillacs. They wear plates.
Exactly.
They wear jeans.
Exactly.
They say y'all.
They have the accent. You know what I mean? So I think that's it's really cool. But I feel like in Brazil, it's maybe a little bit stronger, the presence. So it's cool to see that kind of sweep. Maybe we're kind of taking the lead in this trend instead of the United States, you know what I mean? And even with, you said, Beyonce, a lot of people are taking influence from country music into their albums because, a lot of people judge other people for listening to country music. There's, a kind of stigma, I guess, but it's I'll listen to everything but country, you know what I mean? A lot of people not Brazil, in America say that.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. In America, there's this
kind of, right, I'll listen to everything but country and maybe metal or something like that, the scream
I
rock.
didn't know that.
So a lot of people have that prejudice.
I really
with
like
it.
American culture, and country culture. The first thing that I say, some people say that is so. Some people they put the prejudice if you say y'all, don't say y'all. But I think it is so nice when the people say y'all.
I think it's cute too. I actually have integrated that. Even being from the Northeast, I've used y'all colloquially, in my vocabulary.
I started to like the country musics too, like Fast Car and Pretty Little Potion.
Yes.
I think those marks are what makes us us. You shouldn't leave your culture just to fit in what other people say what you should fit.
Right.
If we for example, if we see Dolly Parton, she launched an album that's called Rockstar. Shania Twain, she's so popular in country music.
Right.
But she now is going to moving to pop music.
Yeah, so you see a lot of different artists moving through different genres, kind of being fluid with it.
Rodeo is also going to is going to continue. So it will be on the 28th, 26th, 27th, and 30th. We are expecting Gustavo Lima, Gustavo Mioto. Who else?
Jorge Mateus,
yes.
Cauã.
Zeneto Cristiano.
Yeah, I can't remember. Pedro Sampaio.
Pedro Sampaio. There's more. Nice. What's the name of? I forgot his name. It's Zé de Camargo Luciano.
It's cool, talking about country music. We have these rodeos that is supposed to be country music, but we also have funk, Pedro Sampaio.
Yeah, it's
so
cool. So there's a mix of genres too. It's not just focused on one necessarily.
But if we think, for example, country music here in Brazil and country music in the United States, it is so different.
It is different.
It's not the same. Some people think, it's the same thing, but no, it's not.
I find that the older country music of the United States and the older country music of Brazil are similar in the instruments maybe, but now I feel as they've become more
today's country here is so different.
Here and today's country
like
there is very divergent.
Country.
It's completely different.
Yeah, but the themes are, people in general are very similar. Like, they talk about nature, they talk about like living on the countryside, they talk about love a lot of the time. So I think the themes are very similar, but sometimes the way they sing is different.
Yes, but here in Brazil, I don't know why, but it always talk about love affairs.
For sure.
Always love affairs.
For sure.
But if we think, for example, about Dolly Parton, she has such a great career, such a great story. And if we think about her songs, like "You Better Get to Living," she's talking about living.
Yeah,
she's not talking
or
about
9
love
to
and
5,
affair.
where she criticizes
9 to 5,
the
such
work,
a great song.
the work culture, right, in America, I think is really cool too.
There's also that song, "A Coat of Many Colors." Coat of Many Colors. There's nothing about love affairs. It's only about have you guys ever heard that song, "Coat of Many Colors"?
I don't think I've heard that one.
Oh, it's such a beautiful song. She says that she tells that she's so poor. She lived with so many brothers. They didn't have money, and they lived like in a cabin, all together. And then the fall was coming, so it was going to be so cold. And she said that she didn't have money to buy a new coat, and she had a box of rags that her mom was gifted with, and she used those rags and sewed all of them together. So
that's
it
cool.
was a coat of many colors. And then she says when she got to school, she got at school, the other students were laughing of her.
Oh.
You know, and
like making fun of her because it was considered
they were
poor
laughing.
or whatever, right?
And she tried to explain to them that that coat represented so much to her. She was so proud of that coat because her mother sewed that coat, and she put love in every stitch. It was such a touching song.
That sounds very
I think
beautiful.
You guys should listen to it.
I'll give it a listen for sure.
But at the same time, she's saying all that so emotional. They singers here talk about drinking, barbecues, women,
Yes.
and parties.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there probably are some artists, but maybe they're just not as popular as we, that talk about some more diverse themes.
Yeah.
But I think, is that all for today, or?
Yes, I guess
that's
we
it.
can-
Okay,
we can
that's all
call
for our
it.
program today. I would like to thank Liz Barreto, Maísa Orlando, and Zé Renato for their presentation, and our production team, Ana Clara Casotti, Alice Candiotto, and Lucas Toniello.
I also want to thank Rádio UNAERP under the coordination of Gil Santiago, audio direction with Andrei Violante, and the collaboration of Leonardo Rabelo.
And of course, don't forget us. Don't forget us, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram.
Stay tuned on Rádio UNAERP, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Ai, gente, hoje durou bastante.
Você acompanhou mais uma transmissão da Rádio UNAERP. Audiovisual, Andrei Violante. Assistência, Leonardo Rabelo e Gustavo Arcêncio. Coordenação, Gil Santiago.